Welcome to Words From My Face. On tonight's show, we're talking Deflategate Part 2, The Punishments Revealed. We're talking about the NBA playoffs, and we have a disgruntled Bruce Irvin talk. Stay tuned. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Words From My Face. My name is Brian. With me, as always, producer extraordinaire Brendan.
Yo.
And we are the one and only home of the Chewbacca chainsaws. So, you might have noticed we have different sound effects for that. I did like our old sound effects, but they might have been copyrighted. Maybe. So
we cannot confirm or deny whether they are copyrighted. And to the best of our knowledge, they might not be. They might not be. We don't know.
We're not 100% sure either way. So we decided to go on the 100% sure route. And you might have heard Chewbacca's voice sounded a little bit smoother, a little bit more debonair than normal. And that's just because I had him take a cough drop before he did it this time. So
Gave some vocal training, too.
He did have some vocal training. He drank some herbal tea right before he started with a little bit of honey in it. So he made sure he was singing in the shower before we recorded him. So he made sure he limbered up his vocal cords for that little. Let's hear it one more time.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it, at least. I hope you all like our new sound effect. We're not gonna get any more into sound effects. We could talk about the sound effects for like literally an hour, which most people out there don't understand. Is we really could talk about our sound effects for about an hour. We have had.
We probably have done so.
We have had hour-long conversations about our sound effects. Even though you don't hear them all that often, we do take a lot of time to make sure our sound effects, except for we don't have a basketball or a baseball sound effect.
See, because you didn't send me the files that we got for those. Just saying. Chewbacca's upset.
Just blaming me. But but it is the sports night, so let's kick it off the same way we kick it off every week, and that is with the Chewbacca Chainsaw of the Week award. And actually, this week it is a Chewbacca Should Chainsaw Award. And that is because, somebody deserves a good chainsawing out there. And that is Mr. Bruce Irvin. He recently went on Twitter and put a lot of profanity-laden tweets out there because he was very, very upset with the Seahawks for not picking up his fifth-year option, which would have paid him $7.8 million. Now, he is on tap to make about $1.6 million next year, but this is for the 2016 season. So he's come out and said that he will not be playing in Seattle. He will be playing in Atlanta come 2016. And I just kind of find that funny. He's going away from a perennial winner to a pretty big loser.
When was the last time the Falcons...
No, they were pretty good about 3 years.
Yeah.
They don't have a bad team. I'm not trying to say they have a bad team.
Yeah, they've been contenders in the last few years.
They've been contenders to make the playoffs. They have not been contenders to win the Super Bowl. That's the only thing.
When was that year that they it looked like they were going to have a perfect record and then
they were about 14-2 and then lost in the first round, or lost in the first round that they played. I believe they had a first round bye and then they lost. So yeah, they're not known for doing too much in the playoffs. Those Falcons. Not too much. They're not even too known for winning, having winning seasons back to back. So that was just interesting. But I just think it's stupid to go out and do that because if I'm the Falcons who have not committed to signing this guy, I'm looking at this guy. I'm saying, he likes to throw temper tantrums. So what's going to happen when our team isn't so good one year and we're rebuilding a little bit? He's probably going to go out and throw a temper tantrum. I believe it was him who was calling out his new teammate Jimmy Graham, saying that he was soft and not that good. doesn't sound like the best locker room guy. And you're making a case for yourself not to be signed by the Falcons by going out there, or at least them getting a bargain basement deal, because he's a good player. He's not a great player. Don't get me wrong. He is a potential Pro Bowler every now and then. Every now and then, if he had a breakout year, he could maybe make it in there. And granted, this is only going to be his 4th year in the league, so I'm not trying to hate on him too much. But he's not established himself as a superstar by any meaning of the word. So him coming out there and saying, I'm going to go to Atlanta, they're going to pay me the money, and F Seattle, I don't care. Like, yeah. And what incentive does Pete Carroll now have to play you? They do have plenty of linebackers there. You could just say, nah, I'm going to sit you on the bench. You seem like a jerk. Screw you.
Well, the incentive is, if he can do better, they still want to win this season. But
yeah, but they have a lot of good linebackers on that team.
Yeah.
And do you think he's going to give his all?
Yeah, probably not. It sounds like, yeah, and if he's not giving his all, then
yeah, it
he's going
like
to sit. And that's going to be even worse then for his negotiate. I guess the only reason why he would give his all would be as a negotiating point, but it sounds like he's not thinking ahead too well.
No, he's pretty disgruntled, it seems like. So I understand, okay, being upset. I understand maybe saying, like, yeah, I wish they should have picked up my option. I think I've earned it. You know, saying stuff like that, but not saying, all right, screw you guys, or in a lot stronger language than that. I'm going to Atlanta. I'm out of here. Yeah, I'm going to be on the roster next year, but don't expect...
At least wait until next year.
Yeah.
Like, keep it in a little bit right now. You still work for these guys.
Yeah. I mean, he is from Atlanta. That's why Atlanta is the named destination. That's why you keep saying that. But, yeah, if I'm Atlanta, I'm looking at this guy like, you don't seem like the character of guy we want on our team. You just want to chase the money, and you want to go wherever you want to go. You already are acting like a prima donna, and you've only been in the league 3 years.
No, I think that they'll take him up, because I think at this point he's screwed over his other options a lot.
That's true. Nowhere. He ain't going nowhere else.
So he thinks that they just might not pay him the money that he thinks that they will, because now they don't have to.
Yeah, you're worth what? $7 million, $8 million, $9 million a year. We'll give you $4 million, and what else is he gonna do? Say, okay, I'm going to Buffalo, and Buffalo will be like, what? No, that was just a random example, but yeah.
Mark this. A year from now, everyone's going to hear about how he's going to Buffalo.
Bruce Irvin going to Buffalo. The rumors were started right here on Words to My Face. But yeah, I don't understand it when players do this, because you're already getting paid plenty of money. He's going to make $1.6 million next year to play a game. Yes, this game might have long-term health effects on you. Yes, there's all this and that. But if you're smart and you save your money, you're retired by the age of 36.
And if you're smart, you probably don't go bad-mouthing the team you currently work for on Twitter.
I guess he will need to stack up as much money as he can, because, yeah, if he's already out there yelling and screaming and cursing out his current team.
Before he signed a deal with another team.
Which is a year before he signs it. Before he's even eligible to sign a deal with.
Yeah, he's not even in negotiations for his
He's still under contract, everybody. He still has to play for Seattle. And, oh, by the way, you've already won a Super Bowl there. You've been to another Super Bowl. It's not like you've been bad there. It's not like they've treated you badly. I mean, it's like, what are you doing, dude? Be happy with the situation you're in. But, that's why he gets the Chewbacca Should Chainsaw Award of the Week. Yep. Brendan likes that word. Goes from one side to the other. He does.
I do. He
does like that.
If you didn't hear it, you should put on some stereo headphones. You'll hear it too.
Yeah, well, I guess, or you could just play it through your TV or something, some way.
Or something that has stereo. Maybe you have two speakers on the sides of your computer.
Yeah, that would work. That should work. A lot of people have two speakers on their computer.
Except for Brian. Because Chewbacca ate one of them.
Didn't eat one of them. He actually sat on it. And I don't know if you know anything about Wookiees. Yes, they're 8 feet tall, but they look kind of skinny, and like you'd think a lot of that weight is hair. Nope, he's about 1,200 pounds.
Pure muscle.
Pure muscle.
Atomic muscle, I don't know, something like that. Because
he's like granite, is what he is. He's one big solid stack of granite. Well, we're talking about Chewbacca a lot this sports episode. But let's keep on moving. and let's talk about Deflategate.
Dun, dun.
And yeah, the
You knew
story
that
that
was coming.
won't ever go away, just because it can't. It's too crazy. It never made any sense in the first place, but yet it's still going on and on and on. So we all know what happened in the AFC Championship game this year. The Patriots were accused of cheating because I believe 11 of their 12 footballs were underinflated. Now, a lot of people came out and said, okay, underinflating the football gives you better grip, lets you throw it better. It has its advantages here and there. Well, the NFL went ahead and commissioned a report now, the Wells report, where somebody did a lot of investigating, about 4 months of investigating, to be frank, and came out with a
100-page
report,
report.
100-page report, and came out with a report saying that it was more than probable that Tom Brady knew about it and knew what was going on, had some sort of complicity in this action. Because if you're a quarterback, your livelihood is the football. If someone's underinflating the footballs and you don't like that, you know. You tell them, hey, make sure it's inflated properly. And these equipment managers, who their job is to get everything specifically to the way that these players want it, will do that. They can do that. They have these little gauges, and they can tell what the PSI is, and they can help you out with that. So and this came out, and so it looks like the Patriots did it again. They were known for Spygate, and it looks like they cheated. I'm going to go ahead and my opinion is that Tom Brady knew exactly what was going on, because I saw too many quarterbacks come out and say, hey, I can tell you almost exactly what the PSI of a football. There was this one segment with Drew Brees. He was on a late show, and he was almost calling out exactly what the PSI of footballs were by just squeezing them a little bit. And so if you're going to tell me that Tom Brady could not tell, a 15-year veteran could not tell that his footballs were underinflated, I'm going to call BS on that one. Just
yeah, and
a little bit.
they go to the specifications that players, the quarterbacks want usually. Like, I think there are stories about Brunell. Like, this is an older quarterback from years back now. Used to have very specific requirements for his. It needed to be exactly like 13.5 or whatever it was.
Well, the threshold is between 12.5 and 13.5. I believe Brunell was 13.2 or something crazy.
Yeah, he was like really specific, and he knew immediately, and he would get pissed if it was not exactly 13.2.
So, yeah. So Brady. So the NFL has come down pretty hard on these guys, and I think it was a little harsh for deflating some footballs, but I think the message was sent that, hey, as an organization, you guys have been known for doing dirty stuff.
Did you mention what
Spygate had gone on for a long time before they got them. They were recording other teams' practices and stuff like that, and before pregame snaps, and learning what they were doing. So they've done some pretty dirty, underhanded things. So Tom Brady will be suspended for the first 4 games of next year. And that's pretty big. And if you look at it, and I know you probably heard this a million times, what they did was they pretty much suspended him for having some sort of PED, performance-enhancing drug, without actually taking a drug, because what they considered deflating the footballs was to enhance his performance. So this is him cheating, and they're punishing him like he did steroids or something like that. So that's pretty interesting. I thought that was a little harsh because he's not doing steroids, but yeah, if he's doing whatever he's doing to get an unfair competitive advantage over the other team, it's wrong. So,
and we were saying last week, I said that he should be suspended again, at least a few games, but I think I was thinking anyway about 2 games would be what would be necessary. Yeah. So this is double that. I think you were saying 1 game would probably be what it would be, but they're really sending a message on this one with 4 games. That's a quarter of the season. So
yeah, so that's really big. That's really big.
Star quarterback out for a quarter of the season.
Yeah, that's pretty big. So that's what's going to happen on that front. And then that's not where it stops, because the Patriots, as an organization, they were partly to blame with this. They were fined $1 million, which is a record, I believe, for a fine against an organization.
But still, it's like a drop in the bucket for them.
Well,
to win a championship, $1 million, they would pay that any day. So
yeah, well,
not that they needed it, like that we've mentioned before, but
Yeah, but yeah, so they will have to pay $1 million. They also lose their first round pick of 2016. That's pretty darn big, and the fourth round pick of the 2017 draft.
So
Now,
these are spread out over 2 different years. I actually thought that it was the 2 rounds in just next year, but okay. Which
one's
would have been even harder,
2016, one's
harsher, I think. So.
2017. Yeah. Now, the NFL Players Association, which is interesting, they've already filed a petition, an appeal on behalf of both Brady and the Patriots organization, which I say that you should not try to be representing the organization.
Yeah, they can now represent themselves, and you're supposed to be for the players.
Yeah,
But
you only they players, but okay, but they already have filed an appeal on behalf of both of those groups, and they're seeking an independent arbitrator to see what happens. And now this is part of the collective bargaining agreement that players, if you are going to appeal, you are allowed to go out and get an independent arbitrator and kind of hear both sides of the case. Now the Patriots have also come out and released their own report, which it's funny is their report is really just about the Wells report. So, but saying that they missed a lot of facts and that they didn't have any conclusive evidence, and there's nothing that really points to Tom Brady being complicit in this act.
yeah,
Or
there's also some ridiculous stuff in their counter. I don't know if you heard. There apparently one of the things that was found was that one of the equipment managers was nicknamed the Deflator. And the Patriots counter for that is like, oh no, you don't understand. We call the Deflator because he's been losing weight.
because that makes sense. That's
No.
the nickname you give to people getting skinny. You
And the guy
deflated your
that
body
happens
mass.
to handle the balls, right?
Yeah. Well, and I know Tom Brady was not very cooperative with the group. Now, I wouldn't do it either personally. Now, what he was not cooperative with, I'm not going to hate on him about. But apparently, he didn't hand over his text messages and personal emails, which I wouldn't do it either. Be like, that's none of your business, dude. You do not need to be going through my entire life for the past 6 months. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
especially since that could be used for like there. I would not be surprised that stuff getting leaked by the people investigating for whatever other purpose.
Well, they could make some money off of that, I'm
Yeah.
sure. So I didn't like to hear that they were like, oh, Tom Brady didn't cooperate. Yeah, I wouldn't hand over all that personal information either. Sorry. Not going to happen. You don't need to pry into that part of my life. But again, the Patriots, like, there were no text messages from Brady to the other guys because apparently the two staff members actually did hand over a lot of the personal emails and stuff like that. And they're like, there was no text messages. Well, they walk past each other in the hall pretty much every day.
Yeah, there doesn't need to be text.
Hey man,
that would
you
be
wanna take
stupid
one
if they had
PSI
text
out of that
messages.
football? Yeah, like if you're that dumb, like let me text the guy that I see every day to cheat for me. You know, you walk past him in the hall, or you go find him in the equipment room, and be like, hey, take a PSI out, 1 PSI out of this. Okay, buddy, no problem. You know. Oh, and don't let the refs find out. No
why
problem,
get rid of
Brady.
your deniability when you're telling them to cheat too, or why not give them greater pressure of that personal encounter or whatever? So, yeah.
A lot of this just is stupid, and I'm sorry, Patriots. It looks like you were caught red-handed, and I'm going to go out and say it. My opinion is that you did cheat, and Brady, you knew, and these equipment guys are not going to just do this on their own. I do not see that ever happening because, again, the quickest way you could get fired is if Brady goes, hey, there's something wrong with these footballs. I don't like what those equipment guys are doing. Boom, you're fired. You know, you are at least demoted. There's no chance they did anything other
And
than
they
what
have
Brady
been fired
specifically wanted.
now too,
No, I
which
thought they
maybe
were
they're
suspended
kind of collateral
indefinitely.
damage. But I heard they were dismissed.
Oh, well, I thought they were suspended indefinitely.
Isn't that
But,
pretty much the same?
but Brady, you better be kicking them some money back too, dude. Because like that's messed up. They don't make millions of dollars a year. They can't just retire now. I can't imagine. They're owed some money from you because you probably. Again, my opinion is that you definitely knew what was going on and you asked for it. You said, hey guys, I could use a couple PSI off here and there. And so, yeah, that's my opinion, though. There's no fact in that opinion. Just from what I've seen and what I know about football, a quarterback wouldn't let that happen unless they specifically knew. Just because it would throw their own game off. If your footballs are deflated and you're not aware of it, you know, you probably handle the ball a little bit differently than when they're fully inflated than when they're a little bit deflated. So
I mean, I don't know. I could see scenarios where he knows what's going on, but it wasn't his idea, but still, it's like
I do not see anybody doing this unless he specifically signs off on it. And, that's just as bad as asking them to do it. Hey, Brady, you want us to deflate these footballs a little bit? Sure, man, go ahead. I mean, like, what's the difference between him saying, "Hey, man, you mind deflating these footballs?" Or, sure, Brady, no problem. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, okay, it's a little different. Him not having the idea is a little less malicious, but he definitely knew what was going on, and he definitely stood up in front of those cameras and definitely lied. Okay, I keep saying definitely. My opinion is that he did all those things, and you know what? He didn't need to. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time already. He doesn't need to get this edge. He already has it with his being born the way he is. He's going for an advantage that is unnecessary, totally unnecessary. You are already better than everybody else. You do not need to do something to give yourself more of an edge to be better than everybody else.
Yeah, and as we saw in the game with the not deflated balls, they just dominated anyway.
Yeah, they scored more points in the second half anyway.
Yeah, they didn't know that they were going to dominate without the deflated balls beforehand, but clearly it was just completely unnecessary.
Yeah, you didn't need to do it. Like I said, you already have a better coach. You already are a better quarterback. Andrew Luck is going to be one of the best quarterbacks out there for a long, long time. I'm not trying to hate on him, but they were not at your level this year. The Colts were not at the Patriots level this year. So all this, it just made no sense to me. It was a lot of unnecessary stuff. And hey, if you had just played by the rules, okay, maybe you only win by 14 points instead of it was some crazy like 50-21 or something like that. So, it seemed really ridiculous. And I'm glad that the NFL is coming down hard on him because this is the integrity of football. There's a lot that goes into football, why it's America's #1 sport now, and we do expect some level of integrity. And if you do stuff like this,
especially out of the Super Bowl champions,
yeah, especially
and at a championship game, and then going on to win the Super Bowl, I think that's really why they're as upset as they are, because you don't want your champions to be seen as cheaters, and to say like, yeah, well, they won. You can cheat your way to winning. That's okay. No,
So yeah, it's a black eye on the NFL. And they did
the
their
Patriots
best.
have done this, have been caught cheating before. So that's
the other thing is there is a precedence for this. There is the culture from the Patriots that they will do whatever they can to get the edge on you, whether it's a little bit off of the rules or it's within the rules. They'll do what they have to do to win the games. And it's unfortunate that they keep doing this to themselves because it doesn't really seem like they need it. They could not win by 50 points and only win by 30 points if they didn't cheat. Again, it's just crazy.
To flip this topic a little bit, because this has also been talked about a whole lot, do you think this 4-game suspension, loss of 2 things, also somewhat starts looking bad on the NFL, but that they're going so hard down on this when they repealed their decision to Ray Rice and gave him just a 2-game suspension for knocking out his girlfriend?
Well, after he had already been suspended for 6 games and cut. I mean, it was like, fine, we'll just give it to you. But he was already.
But his official punishment was only 2 games from the NFL.
It didn't look good. But again, it was.
Which, granted, was initially
you're already gone for the whole year. Nobody's ever going to take you back. We'll just say it was a 2-game suspension. It's like telling somebody in jail after they've already served 30 years, like, we're just going to knock it down to 20. Oh, wait, you're already done. So it's like, wait, I already served 30. Doesn't count. So yeah, it was stupid that they shouldn't have changed the rules. But again, they were making up rules as they went along at that point. So this is a little different situation.
This is one, like you were saying, they're filing this under something that has a set number of suspensions already.
The performance enhancing type deal. So that's what they're going for. But I don't know. Let us know what you think. Was this penalty too severe? Will this all be brought down? Do you think they went this high because they know it's going to get appealed and then brought down a little bit? Let us know what you think. Comments down below. Of course, at Where's My Face Sports on Google+, Twitter, No, we don't have a Words from My Face Sports Twitter. We just have
Do
a
you
regular.
want us to have a Words to My Face Sports Twitter?
Let us know. And wordsmyface.com. Hit us up. Let us know. Comments down below. I just went through that whole spiel. So let's keep on moving to the next topic of the night. And that is the NBA playoffs.
Playoffs.
Did you click something like we had a sound effect?
Yep.
I was like, wait. I was like, wait, but did we get the sound effect? And then I hear nothing, and I was like, But okay, that's our playoff sound effect now. So, all right, so let's talk the NBA playoffs, and let's start over in the Western Conference, and let's kick it off with the Clippers versus the Rockets. Now, the Clippers do have a 3-2 lead, which is actually kind of surprising. I thought the Clippers at the beginning of the series really came out hotter. They look like the better team. They look like the deeper team, that's for sure. But somehow the Rockets were able to battle back, win 2 games in there, and it's becoming a good series. So I really see the Clippers winning this. Cliff Paul. It's not the Allstate commercial. Sorry, Chris Paul. He's one of the most clutch players in the game. You saw what he did in Game 7, made that last-second shot to win and help them advance over the Spurs. Now, the Rockets are using this strategy called Hack DeAndre Jordan. And I might have
With
just
a
said the wrong
chainsaw?
guys. Well, no. Well, you remember Hack-a-Shaq?
Yeah.
Now it's Hack-a-Jordan. Because this guy shoots 40% from free throws. So they've been doing that in the first quarter, like just sending them to the line, which is kind of ridiculous. I think there should be a rule about not being able to do that. But that's what they wanted to do. It did help them win one game, I believe, but they lost the other game where he was shooting free throws in the first quarter. So it's not very entertaining to watch if you're watching the game. It's very, very annoying.
Maybe he needs to work on his free throws. And maybe he's getting a lot of practice on his free throws.
He totally needs to work on his free throws. That's for sure. Yeah, there's no reason. If I'm getting paid millions of dollars, I'm at least shooting 60% from free throw line. You know why? Because if I'm under 60%, I'm sitting in the gym for days and days and days until I just have the motion of making a free throw down. And then I'm going to say, hey, Clippers fans, I need some practice shooting free throws with a lot of fans around. And then bring them in and have them yell at me while I'm shooting free throws for days and days and days. Because tell me there wouldn't be thousands of people just like, hey, we're going to open up the stadium just so I can practice. And there would be thousands of people showing up. Guaranteed. So there's almost no excuse for this. And there was no excuse for Shaq to be so horrible at free throws. But, yeah, that's a pretty boring way to do it. But James Harden, he showed that he's a superstar. Every now and then. I believe he had a triple-double in one of the games there that they won. So he has the potential. He just needs to step it up a little bit more on the defensive end. So really, I see the Clippers winning this. Whether it goes to 7 games or not, I still think the Clippers are going to win this. And they're emerging as the title contender, almost the title favorite out of the West, especially if they come out of this in the next game. Because Golden State has shown that they might not be as good as everybody thought they were. So let's move on to that series, the Golden State Warriors versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the Grizzlies are a slower-paced team. They like to set up their half-court offense, and they got these big guys that will pound away at you. The Warriors are usually more of a fast-paced, up and down the court, hot shooting team, but they've shown all year long that they're one of the better defensive teams as well. Well, they're only as good a defensive team as you're willing to play at their speed. If you're not willing to play at their speed and you want to slow the game down, doesn't seem like they're as good with the half-court sets. So what we're seeing is Steph Curry, right after he was named MVP, he had like 3 bad games in a row because they won the first one. He was named MVP, had 3 cruddy games. And, it's like, oh, this is the great
Sounds like
time.
there's a curse.
Well, no curse. Kevin Durant played amazing
being
always.
an MVP. It's now established. They'll call it the Seth curse.
Seth curse. All right, fine. Well, hey, if it becomes a curse, then we'll know where to point back to. Where was I? Yeah, so we have Seth Curry started having more good games last night. He played well. They won. Series is 3-2 against the Grizzlies. So we haven't really seen the Splash Brothers go off, and that's been kind of what's been holding the Warriors back. So we'll see what happens there. I still think that the Warriors have the potential to beat the Grizzlies, but they have an uphill battle, and especially with Mike Conley back, even wearing that face mask, this is a really good team. Mike Conley is one of the most underrated point guards in the game right now, and he does a really good job there with that Memphis Grizzlies team. So we'll see what happens. Marc Gasol is still plugging up the middle. They really have no answer. Andrew Bogut really has been, he just disappeared. He cannot play with those two, Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol. So yeah, I see the Warriors winning, but running up into a buzzsaw team of the Clippers. So see what happens there. Now let's roll over to the East. And the first one we'll talk about is the Chicago-Cleveland game. And that is going on right now. I just don't know the score. Nope, don't know the score. So I could be wrong as of right now, and it could be a tied series, or the series could be over. But Cleveland was up 3-2 in this series. And really what you saw was the emergence of LeBron James. He just said, you know what? I'm going to take over everything. Kevin Love,
For the
you're not going to
first
be
time
here.
ever.
Well, not the first time ever, but Kevin Love, you're not going to be available. You dislocated your shoulder pretty bad. Don't worry, I'll take up. Kyrie Irving, you can barely walk up and down the court. Nah, no worries. I'm just going to win this whole thing by myself. And he's kind of put the team on his back and played like we all knew he could. Now, does this bode well for the future for them? No. And do I look at the Bulls team and say that they're not as good as the Cleveland team? Actually, no. I mean, with their team all healthy, Paul Gasol, Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler having the year that he had, this team, if I was going to compare the rosters right now, I would say that the Chicago roster is better than the Cleveland roster, but then they have LeBron James. So, yeah. Like, LeBron James is as good as any two, if not any three players on their team put together. So it really has been an interesting series. And, if Cleveland hasn't won, I think they will end up winning. You want to check that score real quick, Brendan? See if they won.
I can check any score as long as you can keep talking about it.
I can keep talking about it, but I'd rather not talk about something that didn't happen the way it happened. And actually, Cavaliers did win, so series over. They won 94-73. So we're looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers moving on to the next round. And let's talk about their possible opponents. And then we have the Wizards versus the Hawks. Now, John Wall didn't make it back for Game 5, which was huge. I mean, it was absolutely amazing that this guy had 5 displaced fractures in his left wrist, and he's already playing. And he played at a pretty good clip last night. Now, I don't know. It must not feel good whenever he takes gets a hard pass to him or something like that, or somebody slaps at his wrist. Can't be good, but it seemed like he would be all right. Now they did lose 82-81. Paul Pierce did his thing, hit a last-second three-pointer, but they just couldn't get an offensive rebound, and Al Horford put it in. I still like the Wizards in this series, especially with John Wall there. Didn't really like him without John Wall, but with John Wall, this series, it's the Wizards to lose almost. Even though they are down 3-2 right now, they're coming back to D.C. If they can win that, and they can win that in convincing fashion, then going back to Atlanta, they'll have the momentum. I think they can beat Atlanta in a Game 7, and I think it will go 7 games. So we'll see what happens there, because if you look at the Wizards, they have a superstar. His name is John Wall, and they have a clutch shooter in Paul Pierce. And Bradley Beal, he's shown that he can put the points in there. Yeah, Al Horford has had a great series so far. Jeff Teague hasn't been great, but he hasn't been bad. He's been on and off. But they don't have that superstar like you have on Washington's side, John Wall. So this is a superstar-driven league. As you saw with the Cleveland and Bulls series, LeBron James took it over. So we'll see what happens in the next game in Washington. I do expect that one to at least go 7 games. I'd be very surprised if Washington doesn't pull out a win tomorrow night. I'm going to say about 60% sure the Wizards will win. 40%.
It's not all that sure after all.
It's not a huge. Now, if John Wall had stayed healthy the whole series, boom, Wizards already done. But with that injury, it was big, and it was at a bad time. Yeah, he made it back for this series. He clawed his way back in. They were saying that even after last night's game, his left wrist wasn't swollen. He's feeling good. He's going to be ready for Game 6. It was a bad time to have that. You gave the Hawks some momentum that you just did not want them to have. So we'll see what happens there. But, yeah, I imagine the Wizards in 7. That's how that one will go. But let us know what you think. Which playoff series is going to go where, and who are the Cleveland Cavaliers going to meet in the Eastern Conference Finals, and who's going to make it to the West? Hit us up. Let us know. Comments down below, of course, at What's My Face on Google Plus Sports, on Google Plus. wordsmyface.com, and I'm really messing up that part.
You need
Tonight
practice.
has not been a good night for that. Because we're
just like those free throws.
I do need to practice. I need to be better than 40%. I need to be better. So, but that's going to be about it for tonight. It was kind of a short show tonight. I have been painting my house from top to bottom. It is really, really tiring and annoying, but I got to get it done. So,
yeah, paint.
Yeah, who else do you know takes a week off of work? Not to relax, but to paint.
I mean, I didn't do it to paint. I did other housework.
No, this guy. To paint.
You're really practicing your martial arts skills, aren't you?
This guy to paint.
Karate Kid.
Paint on, paint off. Wait, no, not paint off, damn it.
He actually did, a paintbrush up and down part 2.
Okay, well, that's what I'm doing. I'm now a master of martial arts. Okay, maybe not. But as always, I am Brian. With me, as always, producer extraordinaire Brendan.
You.
And we are going to headbang our way out of this joint. And you gotta start it right when I start headbanging. That's what looks really weird to people.